Hi, we're live. It's all of us. It is the After Party, the SNL podcast, of course. I'm Kevin Turner. We have Jesse Kubanet. We have Matt Czizek, the Chief Content Officer of Haymaker Media.
Just
Did
a
I get
guy.
that title right?
Just a guy. Just a man.
He's just a guy, though. We're discussing season 51, episode 4, Miles Teller, Brandi Carlile. Feel free to light up the comments if you'd like. You can also, if you probably know this if you're listening, Spotify and Apple is where we're putting this thing out because I don't really know where else to put it. All right, let's get this thing going. Cold open. Jesse, we have cameos right off the bat. Did you like the cold open?
I did, and I also kind of want to go back in time. My memory's a little foggy because we did this 2 weeks ago now. Weird mid-season break. We talked about how Miles Teller was in the cold open last time he hosted as Peyton Manning, doing a Manning cast. He shows up again as Andrew Cuomo. I don't remember if that was a prediction or if we called it. We might have. In fact, I might have. I might be leading that a little bit. But I thought this was really, really solid. Great Cuomo from him. Initial thought right away from Miles Teller is that we kind of owe him an apology. He's good at this. He's really good at this. He's a great actor, which I think you kind of forget, and I want to touch on that when we get to the monologue. But yeah, the cameos, obviously we get Rami Youssef and Shane Gillis in there. Very, very inside baseball, which I like. Great nod from Keenan as the least famous person to ever be impersonated on SNL. That's fantastic. This felt very much like they were doing a show live in New York. If you've ever been to Chicago, ever been to a Second City review, it's very referential to the city, as I'm sure a lot of local Dallas comedy, Denver, San Francisco, wherever you may be, you kind of play to the audience that you have in-house. That's what this felt like, but still hit really well, not even, having huge eyes on the NYC mayor Democratic race. But like we all obviously know that that's going on, election day, and everything is top of the news. I thought it was interesting. I thought Rami got like a decent smattering of applause and some recognition. Shane did not really get any from that house. Neither one of them did get a huge one, and I don't think that's what they were going for. I think they were just like both of these guys could play these candidates pretty well and have fun with it. I got the impression that Miles was cool with at least Shane, like maybe Rami as well. They all seem to be similar age, but overall, really strong cold open for something that is not national news in a way. It is because that race has a lot of eyeballs on it, but it was like, a pretty local race that they covered in a really, really fun way.
Yeah, and 3 out of the 4 hosts so far have appeared in the cold open. Bad Bunny did not, but that was a fun cold open with Colin playing Pete Hegseth. But then you have Amy Poehler, Sabrina Carpenter, and then Miles Teller all in a row appearing in the cold open. Matt, what did you think about the cold open?
Everything that you just said, I agree with there, Jesse. The part that I like was that it led to Trump, and then the short amount in the end there, I thought was the perfect amount, because I think some of those cold opens get Trump centric. But leading to that, hey, it's me. It was me. I thought it was perfect. So, but Shane shocked me right off the top of, oh, okay, this is what we're doing here. So I liked it.
Yeah, I think like I think a part of the reason on Shane is like the sleeve, like the makeup, it made him look very pale. And then like not a lot of people know who Curtis Sliwa is. Like, Cuomo, Zoran. You might not know who Sliwa is. So that might have been part of it. I thought Rami was really good. And it'll be interesting to see if he gets to stay around, once we tally the votes and all that stuff. He's also the cousin of my good friend Dina, the creator of Sports and Such.
I forget about that tie-in.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
She tried.
He's excellent, by the way.
He's very
Rami's
good.
so good. It does feel like in another life he's a cast member on SNL. Like he didn't need this. He's doing very well on his own. But yeah, I would definitely be down for that. And to bring it back around, I do like, we talked about this episode 0 and then episode 1. I like what they're doing with Trump this year. It's very fun. We get more of that later in this episode. And again, you get to see some of these actors flex a little bit, and these sketch performers do things that they probably have loved their whole life. Like I guarantee James Austin Johnson growing up I think he's from fairly rural Tennessee. He was probably a theater kid and loved Phantom of the Opera, and he gets to do a Trump Phantom on Saturday Night Live. Like that's just a really fun thing to do. And I do think with everything that happened with Shane, as someone who I'm not a big fan of his comedy, I do think I like him more as an actor than a stand-up. Like I think he's good, and what he and that crew have done with Tires is in my opinion, his strongest work. But like seeing him as an actor and seeing him come back to SNL after everything that happened to him, I do think that is good for the show, however you may feel about him or the show in general. Like the fact that I feel like this relationship is just good. It just seems like it's in a good place that you could call him up, and if he's in the city, he'll come in and do a bit. I think that's good for his audience. I think it's good for the people who like SNL. Like I don't think there's anything bad with that. It seems like, that has been a handshake and we move on from it, which I think is pretty good.
Do you think when you say actor, do you think he's strong as just an actor, or does that translate to sketch comedy too? Or do you consider those separate, actor and sketch? Because I personally, when I see him there and then he's next to I think Shane's Trump is very funny, and it's almost like I'm watching it like, oh, I'd love to see him be doing this bit too, or whatever, or more of these sketches. I really think he's good in that sketch comedy world.
Yeah, I think it's just as a performer, because I think in Tires he's not playing entirely far away from the stand-up persona that we get, but then he can do a Trump. He can play the divorced dad. I think he plays into the sketch world and into the acting world better than you would assume. Like if you watch his stand-up first, like he's better at it than I would have thought. And same for Rami too. Like Rami absolutely crushed that. And then when he's hosted in the past, I thought like he's done a really good job. And then, again, bring it back to the host. We both were a little bit like, oh, Miles Teller. And like, we've seen Miles Teller and everything. He's good at this. He feels unbelievably comfortable, which I think might segue us nicely into monologue, where I don't think he feels comfortable.
Yeah, not at all. In fact, I'm going to go first on monologue to get out of the way. Here's my notes. His shirt is bothering me. Huge collar, and it's not centered. That was my takeaway from the monologue.
I believe that's a shacket. It's a shirt jacket hybrid.
It was something. It was first of all something I couldn't pull off, so that maybe that's part of it. But that was my big. I was like, I couldn't stop looking at it, but it was fast, so we'll take that. We'll take the quick monologue anytime. If it's not like a comedian, I want a quick monologue personally.
I agree. I wrote really quick, and this everything I'm about to say here is mean. I want to get in front of that. I don't mean it to be that mean, but it's mean. I said I think Miles Teller is better at acting than he is at being Miles Teller. Again, that's mean, but he's a very good actor. I want to stress that. I think he's a very good actor. And I think that no one has been hurt more in a career sense than Miles Teller by the existence of Glenn Powell. I think if we don't have Glenn Powell on this planet, there's a lot more Miles Teller out there. Yeah. And it's just a bummer for him. And I think my wife said this when we were watching it. We actually watched it last night, that he's a little awkward and shy and timid and probably insecure. And that's just like an actor thing. A lot of performers are that way. Because I think Whiplash is still one of my favorite performances from him and J.K. Simmons. But like this dude can really act, and then you see him do comedy really well, and he seems to thrive in this environment. And that's where he was kind of even alluding to with referencing it, being like a home when talking about his home and his wife's being lost in the Palisades fire, which is a pretty heavy stuff. I think he feels very comfortable here. I think he's good here. I think they like him here. And I think we're going to see more Miles Teller. But I agree. If you're not a comic, you're not comfortable. I think we breeze through this monologue as fast as humanly possible.
I failed us by not watching the season 48 premiere where he would, all I remembered of it is the Peyton Manning cast cold open. But outside of that, and that's why probably going into this episode, I was like, it feels like an uninspired choice for host. It's also weird when you kind of don't know what they're promoting. I know we found out over time there's an A24 movie
I still
called
don't,
Eternal.
to be honest. I know we talked, he didn't address it. They didn't address it. So I bet his people are probably not thrilled with that. But I also think what's weird is Miles started as kind of the funny, goofy friend. There was a movie with Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, and Zac Efron, which feels like a very insane group of three. And they're just like young 20-somethings living in New York, trying to get their lives together, that just out of college, still kind of partying. Are we hooking up with girls? Are we dating them? Are we trying to get married? That was the whole crux of the movie. It's not very good. It's a good, bad movie if you're sick or hungover on the couch. Again, everything I'm saying about Miles Teller is very mean. I thought he did a very good job this episode. But Miles Teller started as this kind of the goofy friend. And again, he kind of, morphed himself into a Top Gun actor, but not the Glenn Powell guy. So that's where it's tough for him. But again, he shines here very well.
And there's not a lot of room for more than one or two of those Glenn Powell types. So it's a tough to get on that Mount Rushmore.
That feels like a cycle too. But,
clearly a cycle.
Yeah.
But if I asked you right now, who's older, Miles Teller or Glenn Powell, what would you say?
I think I'd say Miles.
It is, but it's 38 to 37.
Yeah,
our age.
They're so close.
These guys are our age. Gee whiz. Okay, let's move on. What did I do last night? A little game show. Keenan is your host, and his name is Gay Fape. Man, Miles Teller is dressed as a corn. That was the best line of the whole thing, in my opinion. He made Keenan laugh because he said, I was wondering why I dressed like corn.
I just want to start with this. I think that this is excellent because as we're, not watching last week, and I was super busy watching, the last few games of the World Series. We had Halloween. I remember very specifically John Mulaney talking about his favorite show of the entire year, over Christmas, over opener, over finale, is the Halloween show. There's just a lot of stuff you can do there. You get David S. Pumpkins. You get Larry David doing his version of David S. Pumpkins. It goes on and on and on. And this is the first year that I can remember. I'm sure there are so many. We're at 51 seasons of this show where they didn't have a Halloween episode, which kind of stuck out to me, and I thought it was odd. I love opening with this because it's the perfect, literally day after Halloween. Probably one of the most hungover days of the year, aside from St. Patrick's Day, maybe. Yeah. Really fun premise. Everyone does really well. Veronica was great in it. Keenan's perfect for this. And I think that the writers, after a rough week one, the writers are having a ton of fun with this. And I think the cast is having a ton of fun with this. And I think this was a perfect sketch. I feel like SNL sometimes misses. Sometimes stuff feels a little dated, especially when you're doing political comedy. So if Trump does something on Monday and they open with it on Saturday, it feels old. This felt like the freshest SNL thing in a long time for me, and I just thought it was excellent.
What'd you think, Matt?
I want to ask you guys, what do you think the hitting percentage is on nailing the sketch when it's a game show themed, but with just a slight twist to it, right? Of something that's topical, which I think that Halloween twist was really funny.
I was thinking about that because, obviously the Bad Bunny episode, the first sketch of the year, was Jeopardy, but it just didn't have any jokes in it. And to me, granted, I'm a game show nut. So I like that type of stuff and I don't mind it being right out of the gate early. I don't think it has to be something newsy, right out of the gate. So I think it hits pretty good, at least for me. But I don't know what the world thinks. And keep in mind, I'm a guy who's been doing game shows on the radio for 12 years, 15 years, even maybe. And dude, very polarizing. You would think that everyone wants to hear a game show. No. it's like half the audience, and management definitely hates it too. So it's like, I don't know. For me, I've always been like, surely if we're having fun and we're all laughing at it, everyone's going to like it. And game shows are just not that way, because I think some people really do want to have a scoring system and follow the rules. They can't let loose enough to just have a little fun with it.
It's interesting, and I don't know what it's like in the halls of SNL. And I think one of the reasons, in a roundabout way to answer your question, Matt, I think what I like about SNL and the comparison specifically to baseball, just coming off of the World Series, is like the hit percentage. The fact that SNL does not get a hit every time, I think baseball is like the most accurate. You could probably put basketball in there with just like shooting percentage as well. I think it's a high hit rate, and the people that like it really like it because it's a vessel for ideas, and it's the easiest way to get those ideas and those jokes and those messages across. Obviously, the famous one, Celebrity Jeopardy, it is a perfect vehicle for impressions because you just have Will Ferrell being Alex Trebek, and then you have 1 to 3, maybe 4 people coming in because you're going to get Sean Connery in there somewhere. But that's where we get probably some of the most memorable SNL stuff of all time. You get Burt Reynolds, you get Sean Connery, even Ben Stiller doing Tom Cruise, Jimmy Fallon doing French Stewart. Like, you get these incredible moments in this arena, and I think there is format there to play with. And then when it doesn't work, pretty fast. And what's a bummer is I think they do too. The Bad Bunny episode is the most recent, but there have been other ones that like just kind of suck the life out of the room. But I do think it's a pretty high percentage, and there's a reason they put it out first. My curiosity is there's a Second City philosophy that if you don't know how to say it, meaning that the content of the sketch you're trying to do or the joke or the subject matter you're trying to cover. So maybe it's abortion or something that's controversial. Say, if you don't know how to say it, sing it. So then they turn that sketch into a song or a musical in some way. And that somehow, like South Park is very good at that. And they've been doing that for years. There's also a very Second City way of doing comedy. And I'm curious if there's some formula inside SNL where someone poses an idea and it maybe doesn't land as a straight up sketch. And then they're like, you know what, let's turn this into a game show. There's got to be something baked into the walls there where, when in doubt, game show it out. And then it's also a great way to get the show literally on its feet.
Yeah. By the end, all in all, in short, for me, the sketch hit hard, but it made me think like, man, I feel like I always like the game show thing. Like, is the hitting percentage just high on this? Is it a crutch? I don't think it's a crutch because I think what works. And I think that one was an original take on at least that game show.
Yeah. And it is like, to write it is like, I can see where people might think it as a crutch, like having a format right there. That's very simple. You have 3 contestants, like that's been that way forever. Right. So like, I can see that, but also like the little extra effort, like going out on the street with Ben Marshall and the ATM machine. And then
really
Rocky comes by and bites him, like taking it out of the set for a little bit of pre-record. And that, I don't know who wrote the sketch, right? But it had like maybe some Ben and Marshall and Martin Hurley vibes with the going out on the street with the camera. But I could be wrong. I don't know who wrote it.
And
I also think that Ben is a better actor than I was prepared for.
He's
and
great.
That like carries over all the, like, drunk acting and hungover acting. Like everybody always says Caitlin Olsen from Sunny is the best drunk actor in the world. And she is hungover acting. It might be Ben Marshall right now in the front. Like, he was really good. I'm really enjoying, I think this is the perfect time for us to start this podcast. Cause like, I think expectations for the season from everyone were low based on the change. I really like this cast. I think they're gelling really, really well.
Ben Marshall, I think I said this last time. The only thing he has that's going against him is that he's so tall.
He's very tall.
But he's been great. And I mean, you might expect that because he's been around and he might be used to it, but he's been wonderful.
He could Jason Segel this thing, man. He seems like he could be a tall, kind of a sweetheart. In a lot of things, especially with those Please Don't Destroy guys behind it. Because what I like about seeing all of them now, and I think we also should do a bonus segment at the end and talk about their ad that they did for, I think it was for Venmo, but it was like a Halloween ad, but we can come to that if we want to. He can obviously do super silly. They all can. But yeah, he can be a normal, funny comedic piece in a sketch. It's really nice.
That reminds me of, I turned to my wife during that sketch towards the end. I said, I think we're all finding out that he's probably going to be one of the favorites, cast favorites. And I was already I love Please Don't Destroy. So I was already, in love with what he does. But the more, like, each week he's doing some individual character in some sketch, whether it was that first week at the end where he, what was it? He was birthing. He was the birther.
yeah.
Yes, he was the doula, I think.
Yeah, like doing a character and not just being dumb tall guy. He has that range in him, which I think people are going to find out. He's got more of that feral in him than people realize.
Obligatory mention of game shows having punishments here. I love the saxophone bit, and Jane coming in as the friend.
Very good.
Kind of doing a Debbie Downer. Now, this is a very pro Jane podcast.
Very pro Jane. Just good to see her. Like when she comes out, I'm like, there's our girl.
Yeah. Suck it, Reddit. Property Brothers. White House Makeover Edition. Matt, what'd you think about this one?
Incredible. Double Miles, who I think did a good job on that, but I think doing the angle and topical of the renovation, I think was genius. And I don't know how long they've been planning that, but I kind of just sat there in awe the whole time of, I'm bad at remembering the punchlines and the jokes. So it's a generic opinion, but I thought really good. And the concept on it was perfect.
Can I just say too, I did not, I obviously know who the Property Brothers are, but I didn't realize that one is like the builder and that one is like the designer. I didn't know that. So the play on that was new news to me. And
Which
so
one
fun. The fact that when they turn against each other, and she's the lady, he said, "Oh, you hush up." That was such a sneaky line.
Absolutely my favorite aspect of this. I thought this was really, really strong. I did think it petered a little bit at the end, but the whole premise of it was so good. And I do love a sibling or some sort of pairing that we all know. And it's like, they're beloved together. But then they kind of, one might have a vendetta against the other one, or there's like a secret hatred. I've always kind of personally felt that way about Derek and Julianne Hough from Dancing with the Stars, that he's good and she's a little off in some way. So as soon as that little nugget started to creep into what is already fun, you already have a fun premise here. Property Brothers, they're doing the White House renovation. Props to Chloe. This is a big Jane podcast. It's not a huge Chloe Feynman podcast. Good Melania. And I feel like sometimes her impressions are, she's good at doing them, but sometimes they're a little over the top for me. Like when she does her, oh my God, White Lotus. Why am I
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, Jennifer Coolidge. I can't remember names tonight. I don't know what my deal is, but I think her Jennifer Coolidge is a little over the top and too much comedy person doing comedy person. But I thought this Melania was really understated, which I thought was helpful.
Yeah, and then just the idea of just say we're gonna make this our saying what they have been saying out loud, it's just this is again to me the best way at this point and where we are to use James Austin Johnson's Trump is not in the cold open. This is the best way to use it because we've just done it so much in the cold open, and we probably will once every 3 episodes we'll show up. But this was when he said we're going to make it our forever home because of coup. Just beautiful.
I feel like they have Trump words now that they've found that probably James and just they in general like saying and hearing him say, because I think I've heard him emphasize coup a couple times and he hits it hard and it works.
Also, the Bill Clinton part was so good too.
Oh, fantastic.
That's what it was. Very nice. I loved it. I love that one so much. Let's go to the NHL promo shoot. Yes, I have that. In this piece here, you have Tommy Brennan as the LA Kings player. You have Ben Marshall as the New York Rangers player. And you have your host, Miles Teller, as a player for the Nashville Predators. You also have Andrew Dismukes and Ashley Padilla as the commercial directors. Her name is Midge, and you get the line that Miles Teller is a predator in the community. Now, did you guys know? And I didn't know till afterwards that this actually happened. The
Oh,
predators went to a children's hospital, and there's a picture. And it's a kid who's not doing well, and there's 3 National Predators players, and on their T-shirt it said "Preds in the community," and it
oh
apparently went
man.
viral, probably on hockey Reddit. Probably didn't cross my timeline much because I don't really get into hockey until the Stars are in the playoffs. But very funny. Very funny.
That's
All 3 takes were funny. I really enjoyed it.
That's fantastic. And I did not know that it was rooted in reality. And so now we have another common theme where we're kind of seeing where some of the material is coming from. We had the Amy Poehler psychic sketch, like that was a viral TikTok. We even had last year with the guy, the crazy exercise guy who gets up at 4 a.m. and dunks his face in sparkling water. They pulled that straight from Instagram and TikTok and did that on Weekend Update. So that's great that this came from something based in reality. That makes this even better. Than this is absolutely incredible. I love this. I love this sketch. I was excited to see once we find out what it is. Obviously, you have Dismukes and Ashley being very funny on their own, but now we know what the bit of this sketch is going to be. I was excited to see how can they keep playing this note in a little bit of a different way, and I thought they did a really good job in taking it places I was not expecting them to with that joke. So I thought this was excellent.
Thank you for that context. I really thought this was someone in the writer room, like completely sports oblivious, and was like, "Wait, what? The NHL has a team called the Predators?" But okay, that makes more sense. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was that. So that's funny.
now, that was definitely one where I was like, why did I think of that? Like, I know the team names, like we all do. Why didn't we think of that? But then when they bring the kids in, and it's a crazy line and obviously a terrible thing, but to go, like, if you're gonna nail the line, you gotta do it. And this kid goes, "This is the guy, or this is the predator who altered the course of my life." God. And I'm okay with SNL getting dark and edgy. I want them to do that. So, very fun.
I've done the sports media day thing, and that's all I was thinking about. Then is I don't know how the Predator staff does that once a year.
Yeah, right. So they've responded, by the way, and
I did see this.
Yeah, they said that they liked the sketch. They said cool. They were not offended.
Again, that's great. That's like all you want. Like this is at the end of the day, this is a comedy show. There's been a lot of weight put on comedy and free speech or whatever, but it's like at the end of the day, like these are very funny jokes with some heavy stuff underneath it. But like it's funny that's the name that they are.
Who didn't know when they made the shirt "Preds in the community"? Like surely someone.
So many people had to sign off on it. That's what's crazy.
I like to envision like a couple of disgruntled employees working there behind the scenes, and they're like, "We're gonna get them this time." Like they'll never know.
I think you actually might be surprised how little people it goes through.
Yeah, Matt can tell you firsthand.
Yeah,
that would be the context I give you on.
It's one quick email, and then they're like, "Yeah, just scrolling through, just move on."
It depends. Every organization's different, probably. Let's move on to the new Netflix series, Gone Without a Trace. This is another pre-tape here. You have Miles Teller, Keenan, and Ben Marshall, and their wives are missing. Now, Ashley and Veronica tell you that they're away on business. Sarah has had to take a dump, which is wasn't a lot of Sarah in this episode. But, that's kind of what you would expect. And I like that they mixed it up. Not all 3 of them needed to be gone on business. So my favorite part of this is that Sarah left for her husband a sticky note on the fridge saying to preheat the oven to 350. It's because she had to go to the bathroom and then she had to take a shower. It's amazing.
I loved this sketch so much. I think it was one of my favorite pre-tape parodies in a long time. we're all married men. I think we occasionally will miss the boat on something our wives, pass along to us every now and then. The fact that I'm going out of town, the footage saying that they're going out of town, then cutting back to Miles like screaming, like, what does it mean at the Post-it notes in the kitchen was so good. And that's again where this was actually where I wrote that Ben's a great actor. Because Keenan, I don't think Keenan's going to be winning any, awards for drama. Like Keenan knows what he's great at and he plays it really well. Him with like, who are the little people? Clearly his children.
So good.
But yeah, like Ben and Miles playing, it's very Conan. Like Conan was what really shaped my comedic sensibility, but that like playing silliness in a very serious and high volume way and putting the silliness at the top. I thought that's what Ben and Miles did really well here. And this was just an absolute home run of a parody sketch and one of my favorites truly in years.
I didn't rate it as high as you guys, but I think it's more just personal. As a guy who's been taking a couple missteps lately at the house with the wife watching, it felt like a bit of a personal shot. So it was really good.
We were up to that point in the episode where I was like, okay, is this the best episode of the year so far? And we can discuss if it is here in a little bit. The next one before weekend update was News Point. I will say that I did not fully love this. I did like the set, and you won't see me comment on set design very often, but that was one of the more extravagant set pieces we've seen in a long time. There was a lot going on. It was like 3 sets in one. And a good Mikey Day fall, so that's always good. But I don't. This one kind of lost me a little bit.
I actually really like this, but I have a very specific taste. I love local news. My old job at Kimmel was very like rooted in the news and a lot of the footage that came from news from very, very small markets all the way up to your, massive cable networks. I've always thought this was funny that a lot of places do this and have, like, I think I remember a Dallas area news station having some setup like this. I know for sure it's like the CBS and KCAL affiliates in Los Angeles do this. It's very common. It's always very funny to me. Wonderful Mikey Day fall. If that was it, if it was just the fall and then the aftermath of it, but then to have, other people circling in, I thought was great. And I noticed this before. Maybe they had some small appearances. This is a pretty late Bowen appearance. And you called it out pretty late and not a ton of Sarah Sherman. This episode was carried by a lot of other people that they aren't usually given the ball to as much. But I don't think that was a bad thing because I agree. I think I like the sketch more than you guys did. I really like this sketch. From a premise standpoint, the ideas that they're generating at this point of the season are really, really fun.
Matt, you worked at CBS 11 back in the day.
I have always been a bit obsessed, even on the sports desk shows, when they would have The Office in the background. And I don't know if it's undiagnosed ADD or whatever, but I'm always like looking back there and nothing's ever going on. And I've always thought like someone should do something, but then I've been in those newsrooms and you're kind of just cubicles and walking around. So I thought I thought the sketch was really funny. I thought Miles was really good in it too.
Yeah. The anime thing.
It's low-hanging fruit. You don't do that bit without doing that, but it's still like hit really hard. I thought it was good.
Yeah, punching the computer to turn it off too is
that's good.
What's happening a lot with this cast right now is they are choosing the funniest option every time.
Yeah.
And I like that. Even like instead of like smashing the computer, or if it was a laptop, like closing it aggressively, unplugging, like all these things, him just straight up punching it to get rid of these giant breasted anime characters is the funniest option you can do there. So I like what they're doing.
I might be a victim of, and I should rewatch this one again. I might be a victim of, we're having such a good show that maybe it was like hard to live up to what I'd been seeing, right? Like the next movie I go see is going to be tough after one battle after another. But, I'm going to have to go see Bugonia and I'm going to go see it. But I think I'm going to be like, pretty good, but man, I just saw one battle after another. So I don't really think that might be the case with News Point here. I'm sorry, I didn't even put news point on here. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's how little you felt about it.
that's how little I felt about it. Rip it or skip it. Church and State by Brandi Carlile. Jesse.
First in the history of this show, half rip, half skip. Which could just fall under the category of skip, but I got about and I like Brandi Carlile, but about halfway through I was like, I get it. Then I jumped ahead.
I think I like that what she did with the set and stuff and the lights to make it a little more interesting than maybe it was for me. So I'm gonna give it a rip. Brandi Carlile is someone who I really enjoyed in the early 2010s. I am Brandi Carliled out. And that is not personal at all, but she's becoming the jelly roll of female mom rock. She's everywhere. You will see her everywhere. It's crazy.
People do love Brandi. People that love Brandi love Brandi.
Oh,
and I love Brandi.
One of the best singers of our generation. I mean that. Like, she can hit notes that are ungodly. Ridiculous. Great songwriter. A good performer. I've had enough.
It sounds like you get it.
I said, yeah, I get it. I get
Get it.
Well, and I ripped this one though. So what am I doing piling on her? I ripped it. What about you, Matt?
I found out a lot of this is you'll find out just through my lens of being able to watch TV is if I'm watching with my wife. And I was watching Brandi whenever the last time she was on, I had us watching it and my wife was like, out, like, let's move on or whatever. This time around, so I was like auto skip and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I thought you didn't like Brandi Carlile. She's like, no, I like her. I've come around on her. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
So then we go back and then we get about halfway through the performance and just like Jesse's like, all right. She's like, all right, I get it. I was like, okay, cool.
So, you listen to it when you're doing some emails, you know?
Yeah.
It's just in the back.
Yeah.
That is her 4th time as a musical guest.
Ooh.
So they'll probably bring her back next year. Weekend update. Our features. We have George Santos back, which and then we have 2 people who just hooked up. Let me do George Santos first real quick. I was never excited to see George Santos. Like even back when they used to do it all the time, but now he's back in the news. And so they bring him out and I'm like, hey, we haven't seen Bone tonight, but I wasn't like, hell yeah, George Santos. But I thought it was great. And I think it was great because they went to the extra effort of having the little prop to go back to jail and take 3 phone calls
100%.
from Ghislaine, Puff Daddy, and who was the third one? A P. Diddy for some, I guess. Who was the third person? I forgot. But I liked that and thought that was really good. And just I think I also forgot just how extreme the lies get with him and how it kept building on each other. So I thought that was wonderful.
The tie-in with the marathon was nice too.
Yeah.
I think before we get to the other feature, I just thought that this update, was it the strongest update that we've ever seen? No, but it just felt really loose. I also thought the 6-7 9/11 joke, because like 6-7 has just permeated all of our lives, which it very recently for me, by the way, just moved by my sister. I've got nieces and nephews. Some of them are in that middle school range. I'm very new to 6-7, but it hits hard and it hits fast. So the fact that they did that and did it with 9/11, I thought is a very strong 9/11 joke and a good take on 6-7. So I thought that was good. Che felt really loose, which is good. I know he had a bit of a flu game a few weeks ago. He seems back. I did really I wrote down what the hell is up with Colin's watch, because he had that huge gaudy gold watch on, which I did not think I'd ever seen before. And it was put in there for the Bowen bit because Bowen or George Santos eventually calls it out. But I thought this was great.
I thought the characters were the highlight of this. I texted KT about the 2 people who just hooked up. Probably some of my favorite weekend update characters, probably since Guy Who Bought a Boat. And I think just real quick on the Santos thing, he's so not when they were doing Santos a ton, he was so like it was every day on Twitter with that, and it was just all the time and all that. And we've had at least some separation on it. I don't know where you guys stand on Bowen. I think we get a bit over Bowen on past episodes, but I thought him not being in every sketch on this one, I thought helped. The Santos bit really hit.
I agree. I agree with that. Like I do like Bowen, but I think because his star is rising, I just saw a promo for him doing something on NBC for Wicked. He obviously misses a show a few weeks ago to get honored at the Academy Museum in Los Angeles. I do think this is Bowen's last season. I'd be shocked if there's any world where he even is able to do a full season of SNL based on how he's doing. I do think his most memorable stuff are always these incredible update pieces.
Mhm.
So to prep him, or maybe I don't know, intentionally hold him back a little bit because he's funny in the in Newspoint, but yeah, he absolutely crushes as George Santos. And I think you're right, Matt. Like a little bit of separation from it, and then having him come back, it's more exciting to see him. And for two people who just hooked up, obviously in NHL promos, the Predator bit of it is the whole meat and potatoes. But then you have this really fun little side bit of Midge and Ashley Padilla and Andrew Dismukes. Then in the same episode, we get another absolute banger of Dismukes and Padilla. And I'm just like, I think I kind of want more of this duo. And spoiler alert, we have more of that coming. But the two of them together are fantastic. This is so good. More Door is excellent. Just the use of Door, going back to Door was really good. Overall, just an incredible update. And I agree. I really love the couple. You can't understand how they're together. I absolutely want more of them because, again, pro Jane, Team Jane. But this Padilla and Dismukes is awesome.
And then to explain it through the government shutdown, I thought that was so well written. I thought it was awesome.
It was great and fresh, and that is just okay. Whoever wrote it, whatever, will get credit for it, right? But like, this is just like Ashley Padilla kind of starting to take the show over from the female lead perspective. And there are episodes where it's Sarah clearly, but like Ashley can do, and this is not a shot at Sarah because I think Sarah might be my favorite cast member, but Ashley can do a little bit of everything, and we know that now for sure. We kind of thought that maybe, but like she's rocking. In fact, Vanity Fair just ran a piece on her today. Like she's becoming a star, and that makes losing Heidi, and Ego kind of, go away a little bit because she's holding it down on a lot of these sketches. She's the lead female. She's not even hasn't even promoted yet either. She's still like the featured player. But Ashley Padilla is now people are going to know who she is after this season.
She's doing character work in kind of a subtle way. She hasn't come out with a really big character. She has the farting office person who gets the farts scared out of her 2 weeks ago, but she's not that far from herself. She's just a hair removed from herself. Like when someone's playing a heightened version of their own personality as themselves on Curb Your Enthusiasm or something like that. So I just like where we're getting her sense of humor. It's just slightly off kilter from I don't know her, but it just doesn't seem like that far of a departure, which I think heightens it up a lot.
Also the pace, following a run of jokes and you bring them in and you don't know what you're expecting because it's new, but just the way they kind of were talking around what had happened in the beginning. And Colin's great to be Colin's setting it up as the straight man is perfect. That might be the best thing he does, but they're just kind of long looks at each other, the awkwardness about it before it, picked up and got intense at the end. It's just great. So
before we dive on to the next one, we forgot about in the Bowen, wonderful Colin moment. Give me back my angels with his wallet full of pictures of the whole cast members. I want Colin to never leave. Che too. I just want them to do update forever.
I do too.
Give me back my angels.
I find it odd that people find them polarizing. I think they're good on that desk, and
they're so good.
Yeah, I wish Colin would before that.
I very rarely have a bone to pick with them, and if I do, it's something little. I just kind of wish they would do the joke more seriously. And then I ask myself, the hell did I just say?
Yeah.
Because sometimes they are like very loose and playing with the crowd limit, and that can be fun and it can also be a lot. But I just, oh, that was great. I thought we were going to lose them, you know? So let's move on. Murder press briefing. This is clearly James Austin Johnson and Andrew Dismukes writing this together. If there's the real Dismukes duo, are those two guys together? So let's not let Andrew move on from James and just be with Ashley. They still have to do weird stuff like this because Gargirl is great, and I'll fall for a play on words pretty much any time. But yes, this was awesome.
It was so good. Again, the ideas of this is absolutely a Dismukes and James Austin Johnson. But a little bit at the end was Padilla Dismukes Part 3, because she had just like a really wonderfully weird freak out at the end for no reason at all. And like that heightens up of like, oh, great. So she can go up to a weird notch too. She can play straight. She can go, turn it up to 11. But yeah, the Gargirl play, the way everyone took it so seriously was so good. The knock on SNL has also always been a little bit of the inability to end a sketch. Having been there like as the murderer and just like, well, I'll get a lot of reading done is so dumb, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But again, they're playing really loose and fun. And this was great. The microphones and all the news publications names. I grabbed 3 of them. I think there were 4 mics. Tomorrow to Daily, Daily News Day today, News Now today, now please.
Perfect.
Absolutely
God, that's
perfect.
great.
Subtle, fun things. I think we get one of the reporters call it out and say their name, but just those little tiny jokes that you mentioned you like the set on Newspoint. No joke opportunity is missed with this group, which leads to a better product for all of us.
I caught Tomorrow to Daily, so but the other 2 I didn't catch. I need to watch that a little closer. And I just love like James Austin Johnson not being in on it, and then as it goes on and on, he's like, well, he starts asking questions, just easy. I mean, traditional comedy writing there, but very good. Rip It or Skip It, Human by Brandi Carlile. I skipped this one, guys.
I'm sorry, Brandi. So did I.
Skip.
Oh my God.
Oh, poor Brandi. We love her, but we skipped.
And then we were like, what are we skipping to? Can't wait. And then we get Italian restaurant.
I will say, episode overall, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. I thought this was the best episode of the season. This was the only dud for me when they're doing it. So Miles talks in the beginning about how he loves SNL. They dressed up as the Roxbury guys. This feels like they were just doing, I don't know what it was called, but Fresh Peppa with Rob Schneider, Adam Sandler, all those guys. This is just Fresh Peppa at a more modern version. And it was unbelievably short. I don't know if you guys, I'm curious if your broadcast, Miles got cut off doing Goodnight. So I wonder if they're running out of time somewhere. If this sketch, this is my wife's thought. She was like, maybe that sketch had like 90 more seconds in it or another 2 minutes, and they just couldn't fit it. So they had to cut it. Only dud for me. And also so crazy from going episode 1 of All Marcello to, was this his only appearance?
Yeah.
The entire episode? That was pretty crazy to me, realizing like we're post song number 2, and this is the first time we've seen what I thought was going to be the Golden Boy.
I will say only appearance that I remember. I shouldn't say that. Like I don't know for sure, but I think the only one. Which in fact, you know what? I can pull this up real quick. I think the tracker's up on this. Yeah, Marcello, 1 appearance. That's all. 1 for yeah, that's it. Yeah, he had the least of anyone.
And I think he's awesome, but like we said, the rest of the episode was really good, and he wasn't in it. I don't know. This sketch didn't, even just throwing the salad in the face didn't really hit. It felt a little kind of childish, and I was like, oh yeah, I get it.
And also just a really tricky on the Fakasha joke. Obviously, we're doing a lot of wordplay. That Fakasha really paused me, not in a like, oh my God, a swear word, but more of, we've seen people get fired for an F-bomb in a wordplay moment. I don't remember who it was. I remember Jenny Slate was in
Jenny
the sketch.
Slate
Was
the
it
one
Jenny
I
Slate
remember.
that got fired?
Yep.
Because it was
Yeah,
a
I mean-
bit that she used to do at UCB, and it was frickin' this and frickin' that and frickin'. But when they did it, probably dozens of times live, not on television, it was the F word. And so they play. Miles isn't going anywhere for an F bomb. I don't think Marcelo is at this point either. But I thought that was a pretty loose Fakasha.
It got my ears up, and the Fakasha was spelled Fucc, not Focc.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and my memory of the Jenny Slate thing was it was an accident.
100%. You could
But
see it
she,
on her face.
I don't think they fired her for that. They just got rid of her. What felt like prematurely because I thought everyone kind of liked her. But she did fine.
Yeah.
Ended up on Parks and Rec for a little bit and done a ton of stuff in the comedy world. Matt, we didn't tell. I didn't warn you about this. We have to give out our game balls. Just like the inside of the NFL.
Literally.
Yeah. So do you have any? I'll let you go first, or if you want to think on it, we can go. To hand out a big game ball this week, and I need to go back and listen to the first 3 podcasts, at least the game balls part, because I need to get a graphic up. I want to track who we're giving game balls to.
I mean,
I've got mine ready.
Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
I said, give me Padilla. That's my game ball.
There you go. Ashley Padilla gets Matt's game ball. Where were you going to go, Jesse?
This is probably cheap, but we haven't done this. I'm splitting my game ball down the middle for Padilla Dismukes. I think this duo is solid. I certainly don't want less James Austin Johnson Dismukes, and I don't think we're going to get it. But they struck some comedy magic on Saturday with Padilla and Dismukes, specifically with that couple, but they kind of shined together in, I would call it 3 sketches. So
yeah,
love that.
I first picked up on that, and it might be before this, but I first picked up on this on the non-alcoholic beer pre-tape, where she's the wife and he's the husband who realizes that non-alcoholic beer doesn't get him drunk. But that's why I first like, oh, there's a few more times they've been together, but yeah, clearly something to watch. And then I will give mine too. I don't always do this, but Miles Teller. That was for someone like me who was like, okay, Miles Teller's hosting. Great. Like significantly looking forward to Nikki Glazer more than I was Miles Teller. And I think maybe it's just because I don't remember the last time Miles hosted. I don't remember that being a super memorable episode. He was awesome. The Property Brothers thing I will remember all year. That will be a candidate for top 51 sketch of the year for sure. So like that's the type of thing for me that I always like that. You find out a little more about a person. You didn't really know that was their jam. So Miles Teller gets my game ball.
He does the thing that I think what makes a host successful, which is selling out, like full on going. That's why I think John Hamm's so good at it. That's why Ariana's good at it.
Jack Black,
I think
sure.
He was a victim of, like, for terms of his star power and how you think of him. He took bad scripts for like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And pulled Top Gun, then it was like, oh yeah, this guy's actually awesome, and he's actually pretty good in some of those bad scripts that he took. But
he tends to be the highlight in those movies when it's not a strong movie. He was in the Footloose remake, which is pretty great. I don't know anyone else that was, so he clearly was good enough to shine through the Footloose remake. I think that's big of you, KT, to give it to him after. And I also, going back to Newspoint, I owe an apology to Mikey Day, because the Pratfalls, but the one with all the drinks was just really excellent. And I think and maybe this is me not paying enough attention. I know he writes a lot, but the guy who just walked through the spider web, like his physicality is so good. And maybe the spider one was like, they let him really crank it up a notch. And this one was so good. I wonder if he's just built up enough goodwill there that they trust him to do some of these kind of pratfall bits, but they're really funny.
I mean, I certainly thought the spider thing, man who just walked into a spider web, was his going away bit, on the final episode of last season. I mean, I thought that was his goodbye. Also, what you said, Matt, though, about selling out, that's the same, or going all out. That's the same thing we said about Sabrina Carpenter too, 2 weeks ago. So, and knowing what I know, and this is where we transition to next week's predictions. If you can think of one, I didn't warn you about this either, Matt. I apologize. Knowing what I know about Nikki Glaser and like how seriously she took hosting the Golden Globes last year. Was the Golden Globes or was it the? Yeah, it was the Golden Globes.
I think it was Golden Globes.
Like the time and effort that she put in to going out and testing that material, and then really taking that seriously. Like I think we're gonna get the same type of performance. This is her first time doing this, so I think she's gonna be someone who will also go all out. And my prediction is we do a bit with the musical guest Somber, promoting NBC's coverage of the Ozempics. Because he is the skinniest person I've ever seen in my life. This guy is a mesquite tree. I mean, he is. You'll notice it when you see him. So something with the play on the Olympics and Ozempic. That's my prediction.
I'm gonna go. I think we get a very strong, at least 8.5 to 10-minute monologue from Nikki. I think they let her cook a little bit.
Yeah.
Just as a stand-up. And I agree with you. I think she has a real reverence for comedy. I don't know if you saw Conan's Mark Twain award for a humor presentation that was on Netflix. She does a bit with the interrupter, Brian Stack, which is one of the best late night bits of all time. And I know that was huge from her appearances on Conan's podcast. So she's definitely grew up a comedy nerd and is a big fan of Conan. And I have to assume SNL in the same way. So I think there's going to be a reverence for it. It's also cool. I just remember this when you said that Nikki was next week. Tommy Brennan opened for her for some time. I think he might have been on the writing crew for the Golden Globes, which I could see happening if he was an opener for her. So maybe a big coming out party for Tommy Brennan, who had a good episode this week too. He was obviously not the focal point of some of these sketches, but he did a good job in the NHL promo. And he and Mikey Day were good mustache cops in the Netflix bit. Very strong. You need that guy in there. So
have him.
Let's see if she props up her boy.
What about you, Matt?
Can she do characters? That'll be interesting to see. Predictions. She has a Taylor Swift through line, but my prediction is hoping that she has some sort of Taylor Swift sketch where she plays Taylor Swift, but I don't think she'll touch it, seeing that she got involved in the comment section and turmoil with that. But the Lady Balls, she would have to do that. I would love to. So that's my prediction because I'm hoping good things for her.
She's a very good singer, so they could do something. I've heard, and we haven't seen this on display yet, but I've heard Veronica is a good singer as well, so they could do something there. The other thing is that I would love to see a big kind of comedy parade, a parade sketch. We really haven't had one yet this year that I can remember. Maybe we haven't. I don't. A big parade sketch mimicking a roast of some sort. Like even if it's like some generic local town hall, but like she is, despite years of doing stand-up, most known for her work doing roast. So doing something like that would be fun as well, I think.
And please go have fake Tony Hinchcliffe and go at those guys too,
I think we haven't seen a parade sketch, and I'm thinking of, sometimes they'll do like kind of a red carpet feel, or the TSA red carpet or airport red carpet where you really get everyone coming through. If we do get a Mulaney, we'll definitely get some Broadway type tie-in or a mashup of Broadway stuff, as we always do. But yeah, I think they just haven't quite gotten a feel for what everybody on this cast can do. Again, very pro Jeremy podcast. Like he hasn't really gotten a moment yet. He's had small pieces. He's never been the joke delivery system. Cam Patterson, again, this was kind of a quieter episode for him, but he gets to come out and be Eric Adams. He gets to do the saxophone bit. Veronica her stock in the newbies is really rising. She and Sabrina Carpenter were like Halloween. They did like a friend's Halloween costume. That's the
Yeah.
fastest I've ever seen a relatively new. She was big on like TikTok and stuff, I think, but like in this spotlight, like new person on SNL too, immediately you're having a Halloween party with like one of the biggest pop stars in the world. That might be ignorance on my part, not realizing how deep Veronica rolled. But like she's about to be huge. Same with Ashley. But we have an awesome cast on our hands.
No, absolutely we do. And we will be breaking it down next week, episode 5. Nikki Glazer, Somber, who I know has two songs that I would call bangers.
Yeah,
Not sure on the whole thing.
He's gonna
though.
light
I just
it up.
know
I
two
think.
songs.
I think he's gonna do what Role Model didn't do.
Yeah, he's gonna show up. Yeah, he's gonna show up. Role Model didn't show up. You know,
Role Model, he didn't belt his banger, dude. Go, you have one song, you got to play it.
For Matt Czizek, our special guest this week, follow Matt over at Haymaker Media, I believe is the accounts.
Network.
Haymaker Network are the accounts. I should know that. But Matt's doing a ton of stuff there, and I've known Matt for 15 plus years, it seems like. Holy crap. And I just loved that you were texting me during the episode the other night, or once you finally got to watch it too. We have Jesse. Jesse's here, folks. Jesse will be back next week. Jesse's in DFW now. Big stuff there. And yeah, so we'll talk to everyone. Yeah, to see you back behind Matt. For anyone watching, you can see one of the Haymaker things as he touches the reunion tower ball. And I'm Kevin Turner. Hopefully you'll just give us a nice little review or something. I don't really know what we're looking for here. But this has been the After Party. We'll talk to you next week. I never know how to end things. Okay, I'm going to end the stream now. Boop, boop, boop.
Bye.